Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this hat here. It's actually pretty quick and easy hat. As long as you can do a puff stitch. These are just pretty much single crochets in the middle and double crochet at the top. It measures about from the crown down 7 inches, and of course you can add a couple more rows of single crochet if you want, or you can leave some off if you feel like that's too long. It should fit around 21 and a half inch head, so probably about the average size adult. You can always do another round of increases at the top if you need to make it bigger. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Okay, for this project I'm using Redheart with Love Metallic. It is a almost a 100% acrylic minus the metallic flecks on it. And it is a medium weight number 4 yarn. You don't have to use this yarn. Any medium weight 4 yarn will work. The color I'm using is called a Royal. It's 200 yards, and the skein in one will be enough to make the hat. And then I'm going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. Alright, as always, I just want to ask you to take a moment not to forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you look down in the lower right hand corner, you see a little red subscribe button. If you click on that, you'll automatically be subscribed and you'll never miss any of my updates. Also, if you could give this video a big thumbs up, and also I'll put the link to my Facebook page below too, in case you want to show me what you made. Follow me on there, that'd be awesome. So I'm going to start out with a slip knot on my hook. I'm going to work a chain of 4. Now I'm going to go back into the first stitch and I'm going to slip stitch into it to form a ring. You can use the magic circle here if you prefer. Now I'm going to chain 1. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. It doesn't count as anything. So we're going to be working through the center of our ring, and we're going to work 12 double crochets. So I'm going to go ahead and yarn over, and I'm going to put my hook through the center of the ring, grab my yarn, draw up, then I'm going to go ahead and do my double crochet. And I want to do that 12 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, I've made it all the way back around and I have my 12 double crochets. Now what I'm going to do is pull my tail, and that'll usually close up that center circle a little bit. And then later on you can sew it together the rest of the way. Now I'm going to end round 1 by slip stitching into my first double crochet. Not the chain 1 that we did, but the very first double crochet. Go ahead and slip stitch into it. And you'll have 12 double crochets here. Now I'm going to start round 2 by chaining 1. Chain 1 doesn't count as anything. So we're going to work right back there into that same stitch, so right there in that hole. And we're going to put 2 double crochets right into that. Now I'm going to jump to the next stitch, and I'm going to put 2 double crochets into the top of that one. And then 2 double crochets into the next. And it's 2 double crochets into every single stitch all the way around until you get back to the beginning. So 2 doubles into the next. And 2 doubles into the next. So I'm going to continue this pattern of 2 double crochets in every stitch until I get back to my starting point. Okay, I've made it back around to end around 2, and now you should have 24 stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and end with a slip stitch into my first double crochet. Just like that. Round 3, I'm going to chain 1. Doesn't count as a stitch. I'm going to go right back into this very first stitch here, this little spot here, and I'm going to put 1 double crochet into it. Now I'm going to jump to the next stitch, and I'm going to work 2 double crochets into that stitch. And then the next stitch, I'm only going to put 1 double crochet into it. And then the next stitch we'll get 2 double crochets. So that's a repeat pattern for round 3. 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And then 2 double crochets into the next. One double crochet into the next. And then 2 doubles into the next. And I'm going to repeat that pattern. 1 double, 2 doubles, 1 double, 2 doubles, all the way around until I get back to my starting point. Alright, I've made it to the end of round 3. And now you should have a total of 36 stitches. You want to go ahead and end by slip stitching into your first double crochet. Round 4, we're going to chain 1, which never counts as a stitch. We're going to work 1 double crochet into the very first stitch. 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And then 2 double crochets into the next. So you can see we did 2 double crochets in a row, and then we did 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So that's the repeat for round 4. We're going to put 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and 2, and then 2 double crochets into the next. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1, and there's 2, and then 2 double crochets into the next. So I'm going to repeat that pattern of 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles, 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles, all the way around until I get back to my starting point. Alright, I've made it to the end of round 4. You should have 2 double crochets there in your last stitch, and now you should have a total of 48 stitches. We're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet. And we're going to start round 5 by chaining 1. And we're going to work 1 double crochet into the very first stitch. 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And then 1 double crochet into the next stitch. So we just did 3 double crochets there in a row. And now our next stitch is going to get 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So that's our repeat now for round 5. 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And then 2 double crochets into the next. Again, 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And then 2 double crochets into the next. Now I'm going to repeat that pattern of 3 double crochets in a row, and then 2 double crochets into the next. 3 doubles in a row, and then 2 in the next, all the way around until I get back to my starting point. Alright, I made it to the end of round 5, and you should have ended there with 2 double crochets in that last stitch, and you should have a total of 60 stitches now. So we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching and do our first double crochet. That'll end round 5. Now for round 6, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to work a puff stitch into this very first stitch. So what I'm going to do, that chain 1 doesn't really count as anything that we just did. I'm going to yarn over, go into that very first stitch and draw up a loop, and I want to do that 3 times. So that's 1, yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop, that's 2, yarn over again, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop, that's 3, and you're going to have a total of 7 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You want to yarn over and go through all 7 loops and pull it tight and chain 1. So that's the puff. I'm going to skip one stitch and I'm going to puff into the next. So I'm going to go ahead and yarn over and skip this stitch. So skip, go into the next one, draw up a loop. You want to do that 3 times. So that's 1, yarn over, go in the same stitch, draw up a loop. That's 2, yarn over, go in the same stitch. That's 3. You'll have 7 loops on your hook that remain. Yarn over, go through all 7 loops, give it a little tight tug, and chain 1, just like that. And that's kind of what I'm going to repeat all the way around. I'm going to skip one stitch and I'm going to puff into the next. So I'm going to yarn over, skip this one, and work it to the next. So I'm going to go into it and draw up a loop. You want to do that 3 times. So that was 1. There's 2. There's 3. 7 loops that remain. Yarn over, go through all 7 loops, give it a tug, chain 1. And I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to the beginning. So I'm going to skip one and puff into the next. Just like that. Skip one, puff into the next. Oh, and that's what it starts to look like. Alright, I've made it to the end of round 6. I did a puff stitch and I chained 1 and I have 1 stitch left. I want to go ahead and end by slip stitching into the top of my first puff stitch. So, kind of just right there on the top of it. Slip stitch right into that. And you'll have 30 puffs now. Okay, so now I'm going to chain 1. And I'm going to go back into that same stitch right there that I just slip stitched into. And I'm going to work a single crochet. Now I'm going to single crochet into this next chain space. Single crochet into the top of the next puff. So right there, kind of pull it apart. Be able to see where you need to go. Single crochet into the next chain space. Single crochet into the top of the next puff. Single crochet into the next chain space. So this is what I'm going to do all the way around. 1 single crochet into the top of every puff and into every chain space until I get back to the beginning. And this is round 7 that we're on. Just like that. Alright, I've made it to the end of round 7. And now you should have 60 stitches again. So we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first single crochet. We do not go into that chain 1 there. We go into our first single crochet and slip stitch. Now for rounds 8, 9, and 10 are all going to be the same. We're going to chain 1. So we're on round 8 right now. We're going to go back into the same stitch and single crochet. And we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch around until we get back to the beginning. And when we get back to the beginning, you'll end with a slip stitch into your first single crochet and you'll still have 60 stitches. And we'll do the same thing for round 9 and 10 that we're doing right now for rounds 8. So rounds 8, 9, and 10 is just 1 single crochet in every stitch. 60 stitches at the end of every round. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that up, and I'll meet back up with you after I finish out round 10. Alright, I've made it to the end of round 10 and I have my 60 stitches, and I'm going to go ahead and end with a slip stitch into my first single crochet. Now what I'm going to do is repeat rounds 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to start over. Round 11 is just going to be a repeat of round 6. So that's the puff stitch round. So we'll start by chaining 1 and working a puff into that very first stitch. Skipping 1 and puffing into the next. Chain 1 there, skip 1 and puff into the next. So you just want to continue your hat repeating rounds 6 through 10. So you do your puff stitch round, and then it'll be your single crochet rounds. Now I'm not quite sure how many rounds I'm going to do, but I'm going to continue repeating 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and I'll let you know here in just a minute how many total rounds I do. Alright, I ended up doing a total of 20 rounds, and that is starting from the very first round all the way down. So I have 3 rows of the puffs, and I ended up being able to do 3 complete repeats. So 1, 2, 3. And that finished out round 20. Now, if you try this hat on and you feel like it's too not long enough, you can add a couple more rows of single crochet. If you feel like that maybe it's too long for you, for what you like, take a couple rows off. That's fine. Whatever, however it fits you, however you like it. But after you've finished getting it, the single crochets rows as long as you want it to be. Remember, I did 20, but you can do a few more or a few less. It's up to you. In with the slip stitch into your first single crochet, and then you just want to tie that off, clip the yarn, hide the tail, and that's it. Finished. Complete. I think it turned out pretty cool. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. I hope you're able to follow along okay. Pretty quick and easy hat to do. Just another hat to add to your collection. I'll be adding it to mine. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook too. I'll put a link below to my Facebook page in the description box. That way, if you make this or anything else of mine, you can post a picture on there. I'd really like to see it. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe too. If you look up in the upper left hand corner right now, you'll probably be seeing a picture of my face. If you just click on that face, you'll automatically be subscribed, and then you'll never miss any of my videos. So thanks everybody for watching, and until next time, have a good day.